Recently, I've been struggling with keeping myself motivated and staying on top of making art, more specifically painting. So I thought I would come on here and share 5 tips that have helped me keep that motivation going and get over this funk and create anyway. Almost every self-help video that you can find on YouTube tells you that you need discipline and you need to make some sort of routine or habit out of the things that you want out of your life to see any kind of results. And while I think this can be helpful for some, if you're anything like me, you've tried those routines, you've tried that discipline, you've tried habits, and nothing really sticks. Which is why my first tip, slightly ironically, is instead of making art your habit and your thing that you're trying to get disciplined in, we need to make an effort to make inspiration our habit. For me, this has meant making an active choice every single day to try find something that inspires me and to be more aware of the things that are around me. Whether it's the way the light is hitting something or someone's face or skin, or the folds on a shirt that I forgot to iron, or even just did a good noise. The more I try to notice and the more you try to notice, the easier it comes, and eventually inspiration just comes naturally. And even if it doesn't come to you in the moment, I find that having something to reflect back on while I am trying to paint or trying to create something is so much easier if I've been taking active steps to notice those things throughout my day. Now, my second tip is to create some kind of physical indication of time to create. For me, especially when it comes to painting, it's coming down here and sitting in my studio. Half the time I'll come down here just to organize something, to look at some old art, or to read some of the books that I have, and it ends up with me finishing a part of a painting that I've been struggling with. Just today, I came down here to film and my phone died, so instead of filming, I worked on my Snoopy painting, which I don't know if you can see in the corner there. I'll probably just grab it. I did all the outlines and we went over some of the flat colors. I think he's looking pretty good. And just seeing an old painting or something that I've been working on in my space has been something that's really been able to compel me to work. But I know that a lot of people are not as fortunate or privileged as I am to have a space like this. And to that I say it is easier than having to walk to a different room. It's as easy as making your bed before you're drawing on your bed. It's as easy as getting a glass of water and making an effort to get up and then sit down again with a fresh mindset. A small act of distinction helps your brain transition into that period of I'm not motivated, or I'm feeling really stuck and anxious, or just, sleep, leisure, eating lunch, blah, 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 into I need to focus and I need to create. It tells your brain, okay, I'm ready, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be focused and centered, and I want to be here. And just like that, the more you start to do it, the easier it comes to you. In saying all these tips, I don't know them from a scientific standpoint. This is just my own findings and what has worked for me. So maybe if your brain functions like mine, it'll work for you too. As I mentioned before, I've been having a bit of a tough time these last 2 weeks, doing so great, but I won't go into that. And these things have really helped me quite a bit. And the thing that has helped me most has been my next tip, which is number 3. No pressure sessions. For the last few days, it has been really the only thing that has been keeping me going on my creative path. The thought of creating anything meaningful or new has just been really intimidating for some reason. So opening my sketchbook and just absolutely creating something with the intent of creating nothing has been so freeing. And what I mean by this is letting yourself experiment and play with whatever art form you are trying to further yourself in. If you're like myself, a visual artist, this no pressure session could mean taking your sketchbook or even just a blank piece of paper so that you can throw it away after, and just making marks on that surface. And like I said, it doesn't have to be anything at all, let alone something refined. Recently, I've been drawing a lot of 0.5 portraits, mostly self-portraits. I've been finding that they're just really fun, and I've been pushing proportions a lot more than I would in my normal art. And that act of breaking out of my sort of perfectionist and more proportionate style has just been the perfect amount of perspective that I think I've needed. Another great one that I saw on Instagram, she took a page in her sketchbook and she splattered ink onto it, and she just started drawing these lines around the ink splatters. I'll include a page of my sketchbook where I did this, and I've just found that not only is it a really good, just mind-numbing, absolutely nothing task, but it's also been warming up my hands and getting me ready to think about creating something else without really having to think about what I'm putting on the paper right then and there. Tip 4 is a bit more of a practical one, and that is to set achievable and tangible goals. No one is perfect, and it is very easy to set an ambitious goal that you're so sure you can get done and you're really challenging yourself, and then at the last minute it just falls through. And it is really, really easy to feel like you both let yourself and others down when that happens. So when setting your goals for yourself, and what I do is I really try hard to make them very tangible. There's a difference between I want to draw every day and I want to fill one page of my sketchbook every day. I want to write a song versus I want to fill a page in my notebook with potential lyric ideas. The difference is this one big elusive goal that you're dreaming to hit someday, a small goal that is a step towards this bigger goal that you're dreaming of. I myself find it so easy to get overwhelmed when starting new paintings, but when I can break it down to things like today I need to prime my canvas and do an acrylic underpainting, tomorrow I need to do my first layer of oils, and so on and so forth, I find it a lot more, I guess, comforting to take it in those bite-sized pieces. And hand in hand with that, these goals obviously need to be achievable. Now, if I say, okay, I want to complete my sketchbook in a week, while it is tangible, for most people it's not super realistic. For me, I know how much time I can commit to things more than how much work I'm able to put into them. For instance, when I was doing uni, I found it very difficult to say, okay, I need to have this and this and this done today, rather than I need to work this amount of time on this thing. So I'll tell myself that this week, my goal is to spend at least an hour every day on a painting. That way I know I physically need to work on a painting. I have 1 hour to work on said painting at least. And I know that I can do it because I know how much time I have in my day. And of course, don't let this limit you either. If you want to set some big, dreamy goal that you want to get done, and you may not be able to achieve, I think you should still go for that as long as you have the right amount of ambition and also the right amount of realism. There's a certain amount of drive and a certain amount of steadfast confidence that you need to, one, be able to strive for such big things, but also not completely beat yourself up over it if it doesn't work out. At the end of the day, our failures are how we learn, both our strengths and weaknesses, so all we can do is use that to our advantage. Now for my final tip, do other creative things. I've been struggling with some stress myself recently, and in turn a bit of art block. It's been really helpful just to completely remove myself. When it gets to the point where you're beating yourself up over not being motivated enough and you're trying all these things and it just doesn't seem to work, I think the best thing to do is step away. But in saying that, as a creative, it is very easy to hold onto that pent-up creative energy and not have anywhere for it to go if you're not working on your current projects. And because of this, I have found myself sketching a lot more. I've been sewing, baking, playing the guitar, and just doing absolutely any creative task that I can. Jake and I even took a whole day to reorganize our room, which was such a great physical creative outlet. It has been so refreshing to actually be able to put my creative skills into different facets of my life. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be something very typically creative. And especially being online, these other than painting creative hobbies have really kept my mind fresh without feeling the pressure to create something that is worthy of other people seeing, or even of worthy of my own critique. Purely because most of the time I don't have to share these things, and even when I'm looking at them myself, I know I'm going into it with such little expectation because it's not my typical field, that I just give myself a lot more grace with them. And back to what I was saying just a second ago, it really has given me a lot of perspective to be able to come back to painting and drawing while holding on to my creative abilities that I've been using in other ways, but also being able to stand back and see how I can put them back into my painting. And of course, it's always just fun to craft a little bit sometimes. It does feel a little bit ironic right now making this video because I have been struggling so much with this stuff. I've had this video idea for about 2 weeks now that I've been slowly making note of, and I think it has been both really good for me by being able to actually write down these, I guess, coping techniques that I use for myself and share them with you guys, but it's also been really good for keeping me accountable and actually using these. Now that I'm putting it in a permanent video format on the internet, I guess I have no choice but to follow my own advice. I hope this video has been helpful to at least someone out there, even if it is just future me coming back to watch this. And if you do have any other notes or tips on motivation and creativity, feel free to put them down in the comments. I would appreciate it, and I'm sure anyone who would click on this video would appreciate it too. And if you try any of these, please let me know how it goes and if it works for you.